Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Ji.
Afzal?
Hello.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Shall we start, ma'am?
Yeah, sure. Should I present
Uh,
or should I start?
I'm just introducing, ma'am. I'm just starting.
Okay, okay.
Good evening to all of you. I am Dr. Afzal Sikandar, working with the Department of Instrumentation and Control Engineering, as well as the member of Women's Cell. Today we have Dr. Pamita Awasthi with us. She has earned BSc degree in 1992 from St. Bede's College, Shimla, and a Master of Science in Biochemistry and Chemical Synthesis in 1994, and a PhD degree in 2000 from Himachal Pradesh University. Her specialization was synthesis studies in some Juvelin harmonic analogies as potential pesticides. She has earned the postdoctoral also from the Department of Biotechnology, IIT Roorkee. Her research focus was on the drug DNA intersections using molecular modeling and NMR tools. So it is a very great pleasure for us that ma'am is with us, and she is working as associate professor at NIT Hamirpur currently. So ma'am, with these words, I would like to invite you to please start your presentation. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sikandar. And very good afternoon to one and all present here. I could see a list of participants, and as what I could see is we have quite a good number of men participating along with the women. And yes, of course. Am I audible? Hello?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am. Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. You are audible.
Uh-huh. If some feel, somewhere the voice is structured or some issues are there, technical issues, kindly write a note.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah. Sure, ma'am.
not text box. Well, the topic which, thank you, Haleen, for asking me to speak on this particular topic, that is gender equality, which is more than equal responsibilities as per the law written in our constitution, where the, there is no definition of a man and woman there. So when I talk of a gender and look at it, we are discussing on gender equality when these things they are not mentioned in our constitution. And it is not that I'm talking of my own country, but it is worldwide. The situation is, I will not say means it's a mindset. It's a mindset. So when we talk of gender equality or as well as, but these are two terms, the responsibility and equality. When we talk of equal responsibility, we straight away come to the women right, and policies, etc., etc. But how do we understand it? How do we take it? Which is most important when we talk in terms of equality, responsibility, and equality. So I have just tried because this is something I'm talking out of subject, and I had to learn a lot of things, and surprisingly, a lot of data I have gone through, and things, it's a kind of a good learning experience for me as well as comments. They are also welcome from your side. And what I have decided is that I will speak for not more than 40 minutes, and then we will be having, interactions. And you would be asking me, or maybe we would be having some kind of interaction so that we discuss on some major issues. Major issues, not only issues. We will also discuss the solution, how we should come out of it. Because I was listening to yesterday the keynote speaker also, and she talk upon the equity, equality, as well as the state of affair of women in a work sphere or as a scientist, and it was a very, very informative talk. But then I started digging out the data. Otherwise, I had planned to discuss with you some of my experience. Experience is something, experience are personal. But something, data speaks, and then you correlate your experience with the data. You think, things are not the way, you are experiencing. So before I start, I will share with you one of my, from that time onward, it changed, my thought process. I was in 2000 and somewhere in 2013, I was to attend one conference at Cambridge, and I was traveling from India to London, Heathrow Airport. I got down there, landed there, and from there I took a taxi to reach, because it used to take 1 hour, by road to reach Cambridge. I had a taxi because it was pretty high, and the driver with me was a young student of Oxford, because students do part-time job there to do their earning. In 2013, I'm talking about. So we just started talking. Ma'am, from where you are? I said, I'm like associate professor, and I've come here going to Cambridge to deliver my research presentation. He said, I'm also a student. I said, what? You are studying? We started talking to each other. He said, ma'am, I'm studying, I'm doing PhD on the World Political Forum, something like that. So I'm just reading the various type of political turbulence going on worldwide based on certain issues. I said, because being a scientist, definitely out of curiosity, I simply asked him that what do you know about my country? Because you're saying you are working on world politics or history or etc. What do you know about my country? She said, Madam, if you don't mind, you have two major issues with your country. I said, yes, it's that. Number one, that you kill girls. Then he said, number one, when you kill girls, it hurt me like anything. Right now I'm saying this, I have a goosebumps. What did he say that you kill girls? The second thing, that you people are divided on a caste and other issues. And that is the main political this thing of your country. This is the student of a Polish background, studying world politics, has a feedback about me. It's a fact I'm telling you. I didn't ask his name. There was a silence for 2 minutes because I was not getting answers. How would I? Because when you go out of your country, things becomes really, it becomes very, very, obviously it is personal at this stage, but then it becomes too personal. I couldn't get it. And I said, no, it's not, because I had to push it, I said, no, it's not like that. Look at me. I'm traveling down from my country and representing my country here in this conference. I said, ma'am, yes, you are right. You're absolutely right. I honor you. This is the word he said. But the women like in your country, like you, are less than 1%. He was absolutely right. The woman like me in my country is less than 1%. This statement is still there in my mind. And maybe, this after that, when I came back to my institute, keep on there, yes, this is a truth. What could I do? What could I do? It is keep revolving there, in some of the area there. Today it came out because when I had been asked to give a lecture. Then I became a chairperson of Women's Cell, and I handled the committee for more than 5 years. I did so many things in my institute for girls. And to my surprise, maximum cases which I've handled, specifically women related, because it's a women committee and sexual harassment committee, Maximum cases which I have handled was related to the men ego, the boys' ego. Even if boys student fight, please don't fight. I'm not giving any gender statement. It is straight away related to the men. So what it is basically? Then I come to the conclusion it is a mindset and it is definitely going to take time. Things have not been, things are not different. What it has been there 20 years back, what it has been there when I was a student, what it has been there, when my daughter was a student, right? What it has been there when my mother was a student, as a girl student. Things did not change. What changed is the exposure, time, and beauty. Earlier it was behind the curtain, now it is things have not been changed. But this is the same land. This is the same land where there is a code where we worship Saraswati, where we worship Goddess, where we say यत नारी पूजते तत्र मंत्र देवी जहाँ पे औरत को पूजते हैं वहां पे भगवान का वास होता है ये वही जगह है फिर ऐसा क्यों है क्या रीजन है व्हाई वी आर लाइक दिस अगर आप वर्ल्ड सिनेरियो में जाए बड़े सारे रिफॉर्म्स हो रहे हैं चलो यही की बात नहीं है इट इज नॉट दैट वी आर हैविंग this kind of a state maybe things are more vulnerable here but worldwide it is like this only so I have prepared I've just taken the definition and some of the things which are going on worldwide as well as in our country to make you aware about it and what are the reason of but still question is there in my mind स्ट्रक्चर बना देने से पॉलिसी बना देने से एक्ट बना देने से क्या क्या जो हम आज क्वेश्चन आप एड्रेस कर रहे हैं विल इट बी सॉल्व दिस इज क्वेश्चन आई गिव टू यू सो मे बी वी विल हैव अ discussion later on after I go through this the data which I have accumulated from the different sources. This is simple a preamble or this introductory thing which I started with one example. There's so many examples which I just cannot quote here because I have you definitely need one complete day for that. But I am going to upload a presentation. Should I go for a window or an entire screen? Hello?
You can go for window or maybe entire screen, no issue.
Okay, if I go for a window, so it's okay, no?
Yeah, it's okay, no. Yes, ma'am.
So part of it would be there. I would be visible?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Just I'll try.
Sure, ma'am.
Is it visible?
No, ma'am.
No?
Just go through the present now and select the particular window which you would like to share. And then share button will be enabled.
Okay, I'll go for an entire screen.
Yes, ma'am. Now it is presenting.
So the topic was gender equality and violence against women during COVID-19. As per definition, this is when we define gender equality, the sexual equality, equality of the male and female, the state of equal ease of access to resources, opportunities, regardless of gender, including economic participation, decision making, and state of valuing different behavior, aspiration, and needs equally, regardless of gender. The other term which I have searched for is gender neutrality. Gender equality is a goal While gender neutrality and equity, they are the practices and way of thinking that help in achieving the goal. So from where we are taking all this definition, this is the Western world which is giving us this definition. And it is used to measure the gender balance in a given situation and can aid in achieving the gender equality, but is not the goal in and of itself, the gender parity. And UNICEF, as per UNICEF is actively participating in this particular subject or a topic. As per UNICEF, the gender equality is more than equal representation, as I've discussed with you right now, and gave you some kind of clarification that how we take it. It is strongly tied to women's right and often requires definitely change in the policies. And as per UNICEF, the gender equality means that women and men, girls and boys enjoys the same right, resources, opportunities, and protection. It does not require that girls and boys or women or men be the same or that they be treated exactly alike. So there is certain issues which require to be addressed. In a global scale, right, globally, there are certain issues required to be addressed, right? Specifically, just very serious by nature, like sex trafficking, homicide, sexual violence, oppression practice, etc. So, as well as UNICEF, despite many international agreements affirming the human rights, women are still much more likely than men to be poor and illiterate. So this is a worldwide scenario I'm talking about. They have less access to the property ownership, credit, training, and employment, and they are far less likely than men to be politically active and far more likely to be the victim of a domestic violence. This is a global scenario, right? Now, if I talk of, because I'll come to I need to discuss the text of my country, and definitely that concerns me a lot. As per UNICEF data, the gender equality in India, what is the state of affair? We all know that every child deserves to reach his or her full potential, but the gender inequalities in their lives and in the lives of those who care for them hinder this reality. Whenever they live in India, girls and boys, or if we see the lives of Indian girls and boys, we see, gender inequalities in their home, communities, everywhere. The textbook, in the movies, in the media, among the men and women who provide their care and support. It is there. Nobody can deny it. It is whether you see it or whether you don't see it, but it is there. Across India, gender inequality results in unequal opportunities while it impacts on the lives of both the gender. दोनों genders की life पे impact करता है. Statistically, it is the girls which are at the most disadvantaged stage. Globally, girls have a higher survival rates at birth and more likely to be developmentally on track and just as likely to participate in preschool. But in our country, it's the only country where more girls die than adults. Girls are more likely to drop out of the schools. In India, girls and boys even experience adolescence differently. Boys, tend to experience a greater freedom in comparison to the girls. They have a limitation. They have a limitation on their ability to move freely, to make decisions affecting their work, education, marriage, social relationships. As as girls and boys age, the gender barrier continues to expand and continue, to their adulthood, where we see only quarter of women in the formal workplace. धीरे धीरे वो जो है वो बिल्कुल नैरो होता जाता है. So women, yes, of course, are global leaders, powerful voices, right? Diverse fields, science, technology, management, entrepreneurship, any area you will see, find Indian women, they are really doing very well. But the most, what concerns me, most women and girls in India do not fully enjoy many of their rights due to deeply entrenched patriarchal views, norms, tradition, and structure. This is something, disturbing. India will not fully develop unless, this is a very important line, will not fully develop unless both girls and boys, they are equally supported to reach their fullest potential, because we 50% of our population is one particular gender, that is a female. There are risks, violation, and vulnerability girl faces just because they are girls. Most of these risks are directly linked to the economical, political, cultural disadvantages generally girls deals with in their daily life. So this becomes, sometimes very, 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 critical situation and ultimately result in disasters. But the prevalence of gender discrimination and the social norm and practices, the girls become exposed to the possibility of child marriage. Now it is very, very minimal, but yes, sometimes somewhere, through media we come to know that it happens. Teenage pregnancy, yes, it is also, we just come to know through media only. Child domestic work, poor education, health and sexual abuse, exploitation and violence. So these words, they are very, very, disturbing, but, the girls do face that. Many of these manifestations will not change unless we value our girls, which is very important. Definitely, it is going to have an impact. So these are the UNICEF, view, which would be there at their. You could see it at their website also. UNICEF India. You will see at their website. They have prepared the document. What kind of issues they are related with the Indian girls or women, you can say. Now, I don't have the latest data, but this picture is a bit disturbing. If you see the child sex ratio of Indian states, see this one here. Boys per 100 girls. See these states. This one, all blue, 111 to 150 per 100 girls. Better is only these two, so this one as well as this one, the Kerala and this one. Rest, definitely, see, but this is a 2011 census. The situation is much better, right? Much, much better nowadays. This is a bit, this can reflect, I will not speak, but this can reflect so many, points which require to be addressed. So, all these gender-based inequalities, what are the reasons? How would you categorize it? The first is the occupational inequality. In occupational inequalities, for example, the entrepreneurship, teaching, scientific profession, military services, etc. These are the occupational, inequalities. In entrepreneurship, if you see, as per the the 2011 study, which is published by Rawat in Journal of Commerce, they indicated that almost 50% of the Indian population consists of a woman, and yet fewer than 5%, means less than 5% of the businesses they are owned by the women. Just see the disparity. Means you have a 50% population and less than 5%. They have businesses which are being owned by the women. In fact, in terms of entrepreneurship as an occupation, 7% of the total entrepreneurship in the India are women, while remaining 93% are with men. Further, there's another study which is conducted by some foreign authors in International Journal of Gender and Entrepreneurship. They describe that women entrepreneur faces, specifically in India, faces several barriers in the development of their work due to different factors, such as lack of access to the institutional credits, and which has a very negative consequences in terms of expanding their businesses. There is a lack of formal designated spaces. Then again, the gender-based violence, then pressure from the society. There are so many things they have enlisted in this this particular research paper, that the Indian woman as an entrepreneur face, and that's why we have a 93% to 7% ratio men to women. Then comes the teaching in occupational inequalities. There is a gender difference in number of teachers and their impact on education. If you go way back to 70s and 80s, it was just a ratio of 75 to 25%. Now it has been increased to 43 to 50%. It has been increased in compared to male teacher. But there are so many other things related with the female teachers, like they are specifically related to the qualification, promotions, etc. There are so many reasons. Then scientific profession, this is another area in occupational inequalities. The multiple factors may contribute to the barriers and discrimination that women face in science, although the situation has been improved in the coming years. There are more than 40 to 50%, up to 50% female faculty member in respective institution. But again, we have quite a good number of gender discriminatory cases, generally comes from there. Similarly, in military services, earlier women were not allowed, but it was only on February 2020, the Supreme Court of India said that women officers in India Army can get command position at par with their male officers. This was a very historic decision. And the court said that the government's argument against it were discriminatory earlier, disturbing, and based on stereotypes. So this decision was really welcomed, and we all know that so many women officials, they are being commissioned, and some of the girls, they are coming forward, and things are being advertised in the media. This is something very positive happening. They are taking up the combat roles in Indian Air Force. We have also started the story of Avni Chaturvedi, Mohna Singh, etc., as well as in Indian Navy. So this was some of the occupational inequalities, but things are improving now. It was really not in a good shape and sphere, but now it is coming up. Then comes the educational inequality. This is the worst hit area. educational health and survival. These are the worst hit area. So specifically, when we talk of educational inequalities, we talk of schooling, and we talk of secondary education, we talk of post-secondary education. So as per UNICEF measure of attendance rate and gender equality in education index, despite some gains, India required to triple its rate of improvement to reach this gender equality in education index, that is GEEI score of 95% by 2015 under the Millennium Development Goal by the UNICEF. And main focus is on the rural India, because in rural India, the girls, they continue to be less educated than boys, and studies have investigated there are so many factors which contributes to greater or less education attainment by the girls in different region of India, and not a lot of study has been carried out. And one of the main reason is it is the role of the family size or family का क्या size है, and child composition in terms of gender of a firstborn child, and other on the educational attainment achieved in particular family. And mother education is also play a very vital role in that case. So lot of study, because I just cannot explain all those things here. But this is the main reason. The big is the size of the family, then girls, girls are being screened out. Okay, you will not study, boys will go for the study. So this is one of the reasons. Then secondary education. In examining the educational disparities between boys and girls, the transition from primary to secondary education displays an increase in disparity gap. As greater the percentage of the girls compared to males, they drop out of the educational journey after the age of 12. Now, this is a bit alarming. Particularly, a study which is concluded by Gaurav Sidhu, and he published this in the International Journal of Educational Development. He investigated the statistics of, the dropout in the secondary school transition, and what are the different contributing factors in rural India. And as per his study, the 20% students who stopped schooling after primary education, and nearly 70% of them were the female. 20% बच्चे जो हैं निकले हैं, ये उसका डाटा कहता है, उनकी स्टडी का डाटा कहता है, उसमें से भी 70% जो थी वो लड़के. And the most common reason of stop attending the school was the distance traveling and the social reason. And family, they express some kind of a fear regarding safety and security. These are the main reasons. So, and another main reason was that the social reason, we can say, and how the family viewed their daughter's role of belonging in her husband's house after marriage, with plans for daughter's marriage during the secondary school age in some cases. So, वो कुछ और तरीके से चीजों को लेते. The post-secondary education data is good, particularly in higher education, which has changed over the time. And in higher education, the girls' enrollment is really good, and with the passage of time, the overall participation for girls in higher education has gone up over the time, specifically in recent years. So this is a very good area where we could see very good participation of a females or a girls in a post-secondary education. The literacy rate has also gone very high. There is a state-wise data which is also available online. So I would not like to discuss this over here. Then next is the health and survival inequality. This is also a main area of concern. When I talk of health and survival measures, as per international standard, consider the birth-sex ratio impact. I've just discussed with you the map and the data. The sex-selective abortion, the gender inequality between the women's and men life expectancy, rated number of years that women live compared to men in a good health by taking into account the years lost to violence, disease, malnutrition, or certain other socioeconomic issues. And the main reason is the sex-selective abortions, specifically in the countries like India, China, South Korea, etc. So it's not good where the sex-selective abortions they are being carried out. Health-wise also, immunization rate, although it is, the data is not good for whether it is a male child or a female child, immunization rate for the 2-year-old, specifically in girls, it is 41 for 40 up to 40% for girls and 45% for boys, according to National Family Health Survey. So a little disadvantages for the girl. Malnutrition rates in India is nearly almost equal for both boys as well as girls. The mental health concern, which is also face inequalities. Some studies, specifically in some part of the region of our country, the gender disadvantage such as negative attitude towards women empowerment are the risk factor for suicidal behavior and common mental disorders like anxiety and depression in females, and which is straightaway related to the kind of a different environment for a woman in home, workplace, educational institution, and due to very social means different kind diversified social condition, which definitely contributes to the mental illness. So, which ultimately leads to this kind of environment. This leads to some kind of helplessness among this particular community, and which this stems from the feeling of powerlessness in different types of relationship that are male dominated and do not offer equity for the women. So other social stress also contribute towards the mental illness, including marriage, pregnancy, family, right? And there is a pressure to fit into a certain traditional role, which is specifically described, I will use the word, maybe it is not an appropriate word, a woman in India. And again, the health related, one of the common health related issue or which leads to mental stress is the gender based violence. That is, which is you all see in social media as well as in news, etc. The violence against women, specifically rape, acid throwing, dowry theft, and bride burning. So these are certain issues which like inequalities which are responsible for this kind of a discrimination or inequality. Political inequalities are there, but it is improving. For example, in 2014 Parliamentary General Assembly election, we have a 65% participation of a woman in comparison to 67% of men. So it is good and maybe increase with the passage of time. And the government has also proposed certain kind of a reservation for women legislation. Now, what are the different reasons for it? Whatever I've discussed with you, what are the different reasons? It is a world, it is because I have taken because for me, my country is most important. I want my country to grow, to improve, and participation of my 50% community is very, very important. But if you talk of a gender inequality, it has a historic, worldwide phenomenon, a human intervention and based on gender assumptions. It is linked to kinship rules rooted in the cultures and the gender norms that organize the human social life, human relationship, as well as promotes the subordination of women in the form of a social status. So you just cannot, change. It is there. It is, as I said in my early in the beginning, that it is a mindset required to be changed. So the main reason is specifically, if I talk in terms of my country, it is a patriarchal society. We have a patriarchal society. All agree. And it privileged the man, and because it is a primary authority figures occupying the roles in political leadership, moral authority, control the property. Nowadays, rules have been changed. Now girls too are equally participating in that, etc. So India has a strong patriarchal, customs back into the history. Then another is nowadays the things are changing. Still, the part of our society goes for preference for sons, which is a key driving factor for gender inequality. When they show a preference for sons, um, boys are given rights to inherit the family, name, property, etc. Then again, there are so many things which specifically discriminate against the girls. So list is a little bit long, but it is not of that important. For example, dowry, etc. Nowadays, it has been gone. It is not there in the picture because do have very stringent and strict laws. So these are some of the reasons which I have listed, which is responsible for these gender-based inequalities. And that's why less than 1% women like us who are sitting and talking on these topics. But the story is entirely different when you go to the ground. When you go down to the roots. So yes, we do have some because for how long? For how long we would be talking of a problem? We do have a solution, and solution proposed by the UNICEF in consultation with the Ministry of Women and Child Welfare is I have enlisted here. The solution is it is critical to enhance the value of girls by investing in and empowering them with education, life skill, support, and much more. By increasing the value of girls, we can collectively contribute to the achievement of specific results. Some short terms, for example, increasing access to education, reducing, anemia and other malnutrition things. Other medium term, for example, ending child marriages if all it exists. And long term means eliminating gender bias sex selection. Enhance the value of girls. Changing the value of girls has to include men. Yes, men cannot be kept aside. They have to participate. They have a major role to play. They just cannot be kept aside because we are a society made up of men and women. We just can't keep them away. These are the issues here within our community required to be supported by the men, women as well as boys. It has to mobilize many sectors in society. Only when society perception changes will the right of all the girls and all the boys in India will be. for all. It is all same, equal, right? Equal. Empowering girls require focused investment in collaboration, providing girls with the service and safety, education skills they need in daily life, can reduce the risk they face, enable them to fully develop and contribute towards the country's growth. Girls have a especially difficult time accessing life-saving resources, social network in their daily life. Access to the program specifically tailored to the need of girls, with a focus on education, developing life skill, etc., etc., ending violence, incorporating the needs and contribution of girls from vulnerable groups, including those with disabilities, can strengthen the resilience of millions of girls. Long-term solution designed with and for girls can further strengthen you can say the resilience and be a pathway of transformation and lifelong opportunity. All the girls, specifically the roles and girls, need platform to voice challenges they face in everyday life and explore the solution that work for them so they can build better future for themselves and for the community as well as for the country. So we definitely need to give them a platform. Unless until we will not give them a platform, allow them, the solution cannot be. So UNICEF India has developed in response to the identification of deprivation that children face, specifically the gender-based deprived that they have achieved. Each programmatic outcome is committed to gender priority that is noted explicitly in this program, in its program budget as well as result, etc., specifically in the area of health, nutrition, education, child protection, social policy, as well as safety. So UNICEF in India is working in partnership with the Ministry of Women and Child Welfare towards addressing all these issues. So Ministry of Women and Child Welfare, Government of India has such a long list of programs where we can always help or we can always help these girls or give them a platform, come up and showcase their skill and participate in the development of the country. So all these programs they are there in the website of Government of India. These are the references from where I have read the presentation. So with this I stop and we can have a caption please.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Yes,
Yes,
any participants?
I would like to hear from you.
Yes, dear participants, if you have any doubt, any question, you can ask. No issue. And thank you, ma'am. Otherwise, if no question is there, that is okay.
Yeah, it was a very good talk, ma'am. And I think I also always, I mean, we discuss this thing that why are we discussing this gender equality all the time? It should not be in the discussion anywhere because, I mean, it should have gone by now. But unfortunately, still we are discussing these things. And in this last, uh, yeah. So yesterday also Bindu was telling that it is, I mean, the women are more responsible for bringing this change more than men. So women are more responsible. So I think we should look into ourselves and see what we can do for the society, and at least for the next generations, the women can take the responsibility of teaching their children the right values, the right things, how to think right and respect all the genders and all the, I mean, caste and other things. So the woman should take the responsibility, I think.
Actually, because this is because you asked me to give a talk on it. We generally used to talk women in science, their contribution. But frankly speaking, because I didn't get much time to read data because not a lot of data maybe social science might be aware of. I just read few papers and they collected the data from them. Very disturbs me. It disturbs me as not as a woman, as a national, as an Indian national. How can we be so bad? Our 50% population, out of which only 1% like us, discussing this, and 1% of us are discussing all these topics and contribute towards the upliftment of those girls who are really facing problems at that level. Can we do this? So instead of having a discussion, we definitely have to have certain guidelines, certain blueprints required to be drawn. We need to adopt them. We need to give them no stand, come forward, not to boost their morale, उनको motivate करना पड़ेगा. Because what I feel personally women is center wherever you take her. Because it starts from within, whether it is my family, whether it is my workplace, how I can need to be. The way a woman handles her children, family, similar way which she can handle the turbulent situation at her workplace. You need to appreciate her. When you will appreciate her, she will get motivated. She will motivate four more women for that. And frankly speaking, maybe I'm lucky. I had a woman boss and she was like that. She motivated to the level that whatever I am, I really, need to. And it is not only why women, why not men? Motivate. Right? So that they come out of their full potential. I had a girl student, very intelligent, but she had some, family issues. I knew that. But I kept on motivating her because she was very badly, treated from the other side. But I was there at her school, so I could help her. We need to help each other that way so that we can uplift, this particular section. It's very, very important. You need to understand. Yes, please. I would like some other people to data presentation है आपको मिल जाएगा. कोई experience share करना चाहेगा? Anybody who wants to share his or her experience? I would love to
Yes.
listen to that.
Many participants, they have written very good comments, and one has written that there cannot. One question is that there cannot be any first grade, second grade, and third grade offense as far as the crime rate is concerned. They must be dealt with harsh punishments. And
You see, this is the power of what we say the societal structure. We say that punishment is of that level. Yes, punishment should be there. Yes, exemplary punishment. Because it is not the crime against the woman, it is the crime against the societal structure. You have challenged the societal structure. Not only women. Not only women. You have challenged the societal structure because men or one particular section cannot take the society ahead. Require another section. Need to, honor each other. So it is not, I will not name it a crime against the woman. I will name it as a crime against the society. समाज के लिए, समस्त समाज के लिए crime. But if you talk to a woman, yes, weak. What way weak? They are mentally very strong. Physically, they might be weak. Mentally, they are very, very strong because she's the center. She's the center of the family. Mentally, she is very strong. Physically, she might be weak. Yes, she is weak. But It's a crime against the societal structure. Yes, please. This is what I personally believe. Yes.
Yes, and one participant has made a comment that the uh, excellent presentation using an exceptional talk and PPT. So immense thanks. So and other very good talk and other comments, very good comments are there. So I think participants can leave their comments in the chat box and we can
I
share
have,
with ma'am.
Hatim, you had given me 1.5 hour. You had given me 1.5 hour. I have 30 minutes left with me, so I'd like to have an interaction.
Yeah, yeah. If anybody wants to ask, they can go ahead and ask.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. It was a really very wonderful discussion, and I think it was very interactive and informative session also. Thank you so much. If any doubt, any query will be there, then we will definitely get back.
Please do write to me, or you can put
Yeah, yeah, sure, ma'am.
I communicate I will reply.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Thank you,
You
ma'am.
can
Thank you so much.
you can share the email, Afzal. If anybody wants to write, they can write to ma'am.
Yeah, sure,
Yes,
sure.
please do write.
Okay, ma'am. Thank
Thank
you.
you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. Bye bye.